Imagine it's Monday morning, 4 a.m., and you're on your way to work. You're teaching a fitness boot camp class at Creekside Church that morning, and it's raining, so you're going to have to move things inside. So you want to make it there early before class starts at 5 so you can get everything set up. So you pull into the parking lot, everything looks completely normal. You get out of your car, you pop the gate to your trunk, and you start unloading your equipment. So you run up to the church door, you unlock it, and you run your first set of things in there, and you think you hear something, but it's raining outside, so you could just be imagining it. So you continue setting stuff down, and you think you hear something again. So you walk out into the hallway, and yay, you definitely hear something now. And you look to the right, and all of a sudden somebody is coming towards you. Hey guys, it's Diana. Welcome back to the Mad Chatter podcast. If you like true crime with a side of dry humor and told to you we're just sitting at the kitchen table together, then you've come to the right place. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more. Today we are going back to April 18th, 2016 to Midlothian, Texas, to the murder of 45-year-old mother of three, Missy Bevers. Now, like I said in the intro, Missy was a fitness instructor for the Gladiators, and she taught a class at the nearby church. And like I said, she normally did it in the parking lot, but it was rainy that day, stormy, so she was bringing everything inside. And we see her walking into the church on the surveillance camera that is from inside the church because there were none working outside. We see her walking in at 4:18 a.m. And then the next thing that we know, students start arriving around 5 a.m. and around 5:07 when they can't find Missy, and they see her purse still in her car, the keys on the tailgate, and the equipment still half in her car, and they can't find her. They think something is not right. So they enter the church, and that is when they find Missy laying, in a pool of blood with shattered glass around her. So at 5:10, they call 911, and then they also call Missy's husband because he is out of town on his annual fishing trip, and they tell him, you need to get back here, Missy, something terrible happened. And so he started coming right back home. And then the police and the paramedics and everybody arrive at the church within 10 minutes, which is pretty fast, I thought. And sadly, it still wasn't fast enough, and Missy succumbed to her wounds, which the autopsy said were multiple puncture wounds. And so the police immediately asked the church, hey, can we see the surveillance footage? We want to see if there was anybody in the church, before Missy, or if we can just see kind of what she's doing or anything. We just want to see whatever we can see. And so the church is like, sure. And as they're watching this, they see a black figure enter the frame, and they are, like I said, just dressed completely head to toe in all black. Black pants, black boot, black gloves, a black balaclava or whatever they're called, baklava, the thing that covers the face, plus a motorcycle or some kind of helmet. Then another black vest with the words police written in big capital white letters. They look like they have tactical gear, like they're from the SWAT team and they're about to go rush somebody's house or something, but they're not making any rushing movements at all. They're just walking the halls of the church carrying a hammer or a pry bar, or I actually think it's both. I think they have both. They definitely have a pry bar, and the hammer goes to the puncture wounds that they found on Missy at the autopsy. But so we see this figure, like I said, walking up and down the halls, casually breaking glass here and there, opening up doors, jiggling door handles, trying to pry them open, acting so exasperated when they can't get one open, but then just walking away, who really cares? You know what I mean? They look like they did not have a care in the world. They were just at a church, 4 a.m. on a Monday, nothing else to do. Why not just go explore a church, because nobody's going to be here because church isn't open on Mondays. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I would have been thinking. I know that's not true, but I definitely would have been like, nobody's going to be here Monday morning at church. Okay. Church is open on Sunday, so I should be good. I mean, but literally, like, look at the video. Don't they look like they're just like, da 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 da? I have nothing else to do. Why not try out this new SWAT gear that I bought off of Amazon just to see what it's like? Maybe they have a obsession with SWAT gear. Maybe they play video games where they do stuff like this. I don't know. I even researched like what video games were big in 2016, and it was like Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Call of Duty was big then, Grand Theft Auto. But, so maybe this person is just like somebody that likes to, or I don't know, cosplay or whatever. Maybe they're LARPing. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was actually a policeman. I don't think it was anybody that has like any kind of policeman background like that at all. I think they were just wearing it. So as the police are watching this video, they notice that the person, when they walk, they kind of like kick their feet out to the side, I guess, kind of like out-footed or kind of like a duck, but not that bad, I guess. They even had like a forensic podiatrist watch the videos and see if they could notice like anything about the specific gait. Like, was it an injury? Was it something that they were born with? Was it something that they were faking, because there was like rumors starting that maybe this wasn't a man that did it. Maybe it was actually a woman. And I guess if it were a woman, then that kind of heavy tactical gear, which was like about 40 pounds, would have been pretty heavy and could have affected the way that she walked. Or a small male too, because they said that the height of the person that did it was between like 5'2" and 5'8", but they thought roughly around like 5'7", 5'8", and they can kind of judge things like that by the door frame. So, or like the things on the wall, like the fire hydrant or a poster or something on the wall in the video, and then they see the killer next to it, beside it, or whatever, and then they go to the church and then they measure it and they're like, okay, this is 6 foot up, so the killer stood about right here, then it's about 5'8" or so. You know what I mean? So they said he's about 5'7", 5'8", or I guess a small woman, 5'2", which I am 5'2". And let me tell you, if I'm going to rob a church or plan to unalive somebody, I'm not going to add 40 pounds on top of myself. Okay, I'm not going to make things harder for myself. But the police are having a hard time narrowing anybody down, and they don't really know of anybody that had any problems with Missy until they start going through like her cell phone. And I guess not that she had problems with anybody, but it was found that she was having like an extramarital affair, I guess an intimate relationship that was outside of her marriage, is how they worded it. And then she was also talking to like a couple different men on LinkedIn. First of all, I didn't even know that was a thing. I don't have a LinkedIn, but I didn't know that you could like, it was like a meeting place to talk to like random people, like a Tinder profile or something. So whatever. But I guess she was also getting like a couple creepy messages on LinkedIn as well that she had told her one friend about. So when the cops found out that she was having, this affair, they found the guy that she was having the affair with, and the guy happened to be married. The guy happened to have a wife that happened to be 5'2". So of course they were brought in for questioning, and they were both cleared. Brandon, Missy's husband, was also cleared. Like I said, he was away on a fishing trip, and he has receipts and everything like that to prove it. But Brandon's dad, Randy, also came into question because I guess he has a similar walk as the killer does. And when the cops released that footage, I guess some people were like, hey, that guy walks like Missy's father-in-law. And then I guess the father-in-law, days later brought a shirt that had blood on it to the dry cleaner. And the dry cleaner was like, hey, this is slightly suspect. I'm about to call the police. They did. And it turned out to be animal blood, which is what Randy, the dad, had told the cops, that his chihuahua had gotten into a fight with, I believe, Brandon's dog. I believe that the parents flew to Texas. I believe that they were also out of town on vacation and they heard about what happened to Missy. So they left their vacation, flew home or whatever. And, they had their dog and don't quote me on this. I believe Brandon's dog fought the little dog, which is a chihuahua, is what Brandon's father had, the little chihuahua, and the chihuahua ended up dying. But it was the chihuahua's blood on the dad's shirt that, because the dad carried the dog to the car to go to the emergency vet. And so it was the chihuahua's blood. So then he was ruled out as a suspect. So the cops, went through the suspects and had ruled basically everybody out. And days later, they got footage from a nearby gun and hunting store, which was a few miles down the road. They got the footage from the outside of it and it shows a silver Altima with dark windows and the police say an oval sticker on the bumper. And they see the car circling the parking lot, flicking on its lights, flicking them off, just sitting there for a minute, driving around again. But this was a couple hours before Missy's murder, but it was on the same day, but a few hours before. So, the police are like, well, this car, isn't a suspect, but it is a person of interest that we would like to talk to clear because who knows? Maybe they were casing the place, the gun store. Maybe they were checking the high beams to see if there were cameras anywhere or whatever. Maybe they wanted to break in somewhere. Maybe that's them. They were like, you know what? How about we just break into the church? But I don't know. I don't know if those two things are connected because I don't think that this person that murdered Missy, I don't think it was planned. And the police think it was planned. The police think that that person went there and was waiting for her to come in. But why are you just waiting and you're so calm as you're waiting? They even were like, okay, well, maybe it was a jealous spouse of somebody that Missy was having the affair with, the wife of one of her lovers or whatever. But let me tell you this, if you're a woman and you just found out that your husband was cheating on you and then you plan to go unalive this woman, you're not going to be casually strolling the halls of the church just, you don't care that you're just about to unalive somebody and potentially go to prison for the rest of your life and your husband cheated on you, blew up your whole entire world. You know what I mean? You're going to be like a ball of nervous energy, crouched in a corner or constantly looking out the window or checking the phone or the watch or something to see where the hell is she? Is she going to hurry up and come in here? I need to get the heck out of here. You're not just going to be casually walking down the hallways, tapping your pry bar against the wall and, just having a good old time. You're not going to be breaking glass because what if somebody hears you? What if, she comes in and you don't notice and you're just randomly breaking glass? You don't think that's going to give yourself away? I don't know why they think that this was planned. I really don't. They didn't think of these things. And another thing, the killer left the pry bar and the hammer by her body. They just dropped it and ran is what I think. I think that they were, like I said, just fucking off in the church, thinking nobody was there, not even God, I guess, I was watching him that day. And Missy walked in, flicked the lights on, and he was like, oh shit, what the hell? Was not expecting it. And it was either a crime of opportunity and they had just been wanting to kill somebody all these years, Or, Missy was like, what are you doing here? Who are you? And they just got super nervous and did it. Or they rushed Missy, or Missy rushed them, or who knows what happened. Missy had muscles. Maybe they were intimidated by her and they felt that they had to react that way. I don't know. But if you're planning on killing somebody, or you're just a cold-blooded killer, why would you drop the murder weapons? Even if you don't have any DNA on them because you have gloves on, why would you still drop the murder weapons? Wouldn't you take them with you anyway? Like, regardless, wouldn't you take them? It was almost like they were like, oh shit, what did I just do? Like, what just happened? And dropped them and ran the fuck up out of there. Like, I don't know. That's just what I think. And, everything I say in this video is alleged and it's just my opinion. So, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what I think. I don't think it was a burglary gone wrong. I think it was I'm bored, I'm just going to fuck off in this church thing. And Missy just so happened to walk in, and I think it shocked the shit out of that person. Either it scared the shit out of them and they turned around real fast and did that to her, because like I said, the autopsies showed multiple puncture wounds. So what if Missy came up behind them and was like, hey, what are you doing? Because she would have seen a police sign on their back, right? So she would have been thinking it's just the cops. First of all, did something bad happen? But even if it did, these are the police. You know what I mean? She's not going to be afraid of them. So what if she just walked up behind them and tapped on their shoulder and was like, hey, what are you doing here? And they just turn around and yay, and just stabbed her a bunch of times. Because like I said, they found multiple puncture wounds in her face and in her chest. So that would also mean that when the person would bring up their hand to stab, that's the height that it would go to, right? I'm just now thinking of this, so I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I'm going to have to, it makes me want to pause this real quick and hold on. I don't know. I don't know how tall Missy was and if any of that even matters, but I'm sure the police have already thought about that as well. So I'm sure they've already thought of that angle. They've thought of so many angles, like the tint on the Ultima's window angles, the oval sticker. They checked tint places. They checked dealerships to see if they could even find the person to talk to them, just in case, because there was no other leads. There was nothing else except for this Ultima, but they, like I said, they brought in a forensic podiatrist to try to figure out the person's walk. They had their 8 suspects that they got and cleared. They did a lot of work, and sadly, this person is just a fucking ghost in the wind, and I don't know how. Nobody knows somebody that walks like that. Maybe they're just overweight. I know people that are tall and overweight and kind of walk like that. You know what I mean? They kind of throw their legs out far and kind of don't bend their knees right, and their feet kind of go out to the side. You don't know somebody like that if you're listening to this, that was there, or I don't know, somebody knows something and somebody isn't saying something, or the right person just hasn't seen the videos and that's why they haven't come forth. But regardless, if this was a younger kid, 18 to 25, and let's say they still live at home because it's 4 a.m. on a Monday, so it's not like they have a job or anything that they have to get to, but they also don't have a curfew. So that's why I say 18 to 25. Let's say they do have a weird obsession with LARPing or whatever, or just play acting, and they just bought this outfit just to put on. And let's say that they wanted to break in somewhere, or they wanted to act like a security guard roaming the halls. I don't know, but it just seems like they weren't there for a reason. They went through file cabinets and stuff, but they didn't take anything. They didn't take anything. They didn't take anything off of Missy. They didn't take her wedding ring. They didn't take her cell phone. They didn't take her purse. They didn't take anything. They just left. They threw their weapons down and left. Does that sound like somebody that was planning it? No. It sounds like somebody that was shocked. And maybe they didn't mean to. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they actually didn't mean to kill her. And that's why they dropped holy shit, because who's going to be expecting somebody to come up behind them at 4 a.m. in a church except a demon? You know what I mean? Maybe that's what they actually thought. Maybe they were on drugs and they thought that. Who knows? Who knows? And now I'm getting riled up and I'm going to just start throwing out theories. So Let me dial it back in. If anybody knows anything, even if you think that it doesn't matter, even if you think that it's insignificant, I just think that somebody knows something. And like I said, they're either not saying it or they just have not seen the video yet. But maybe they will. Maybe if we keep talking about it and we share this video and share other ones that we see and we keep bringing it up, maybe Missy and her poor family will finally get some justice, because it's coming up on 10 years. This April 2026 will be 10 years that this happened. I mean, we have lots of footage of this freak that did this to her. Let's get justice for Missy. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for still watching. Thank you so much for watching at all. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more like this. It really helps my channel grow. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.